Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Fierce and Fabulous Duo. My name is Dr. Tony or Maria Antonia Rodriguez, and I'm here with the very special feisty Italian, also known as Sandra Cattina. And we have just started a new YouTube channel. We are excited to bring you new podcasts. And in this very first podcast, we'll talk a little bit about ourselves, who we are, how we met, the backstory. So let me pass it to my dear friend Sandra so she can reminisce a little with you about how we met and who we are.
Hi, Tony. I am really excited about our podcast. And Tony, you were the one who started this. You contacted me and said, I've got an idea. And we both went with it.
Hmm.
So I'm Sandra Katina, and I was a lifelong professional dancer since age 3 up to age 60. And I also owned the Feisty Italian, a chef service. And for some reason, that name, everyone loves that name. It's catchy, it's fun, it's happy. And I think that was part of the success of that chef service. I am a five-star chef, but the name is kind of fun. So Tony said, why don't we call you the Feisty Italian? And I'm down with my bestie. So I am really happy to be here. And again, I'm a lifelong professional dancer. I also owned a dance school called Big Apple Belly Dance in New York City. And I was also the owner of the Feisty Italian Chef Service. So I started dancing at age 3. I became a personal trainer in 2004 and also a stretch therapist. So bodies are my business. And my best friend here, minds are her business. So we are partnering. It's a body-mind connection about women and friendships. Pass it to you, Tony.
Sure, thank you. So that's right. You are the expert in all things physical, although you also have some expertise in things mental. You also have experience there in the mind-body connection. So I don't want to
Yes.
just say you're just an expert there because you're not. But we certainly have an area of expertise that we combine, and it's even stronger combining it. I'm licensed as a clinical psychologist in New York State and also in the country of Peru. And let me see, I've been a psychologist since 2011. So it's been many years, and I have experience, of course, working with people clinically, but also I now work as an administrator at a university, and I have worked as a researcher. I've done a lot of different things, and I'm very fascinated in health psychology. That's where I specialize. So also mind body. How
Mhm.
does your mind impact your body, and how can you change? Also, behavior change was another area that I studied. And
Yeah.
we're going to talk about, we have some really interesting topics. We have some interesting women who will be visiting us as well, experts in different areas. And we want to talk about all things, things that are perhaps taboo that others don't talk about, ageism,
Mm.
menopause, perimenopause,
Oh.
all these fun topics that we all experience, but sometimes we kind of suffer silently. So we want to talk about it. We want to bring light to these important issues, and we are collaborating together. I'm so excited. Sandra and I started. It's been over a year, I think, since we started our Fridays, our Creative Fridays, where we would
Yes,
meet together, right? Do you want to explain a
that
little
was
bit
the
about
start of
that
it.
process?
Sure. Um, I guess it was the beginning of 24. And I we were talking and I said, how about we do Creative Fridays? And we did it maybe every other week, sometimes more, sometimes less, depending on our schedules. But it was usually twice a month. And basically, we worked on creative projects together, writing projects, going out, doing more things, enrichment things, art, culture, dance, music. And I know that I saw a lot of foreign movies, and I went to more music events.
Hmm.
And also, I started writing more. And It was really fun. I I just really loved talking with you on a regular basis. And the both of us are we're artists, we're creative, but we also have businesses, and you're a doctor. So it all goes together. You can't just live one life. You have to have a well-rounded life.
Hmm.
And without art, we die. Art is not something frivolous or something we experience here and there. Without art, we die because all of us essentially are artists.
Hmm.
And we just can't work, 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 or do nothing. We must have a balanced life. But art really, for me, especially because I am a lifelong professional artist, it's really everything. Creativity makes the world go round, and every person is an artist and every person is a creator. So back at you,
I
Tony.
love that. And I do want to call something out, Sandra, because in this channel, we're women
Mhm.
supporting women. And I want to say you're a published author. You didn't say that. You said I'm a dancer, I'm a chef. This woman is a published author. There's even a recipe named after
Yes, I've
me in
written
one
three
book.
books. The first book was
Yes.
published in 2008, and
Hmm.
it's a novel. It's a belly dance murder mystery. I think it was the
Loved it.
first in the world,
Hmm.
and it's called The African Belly Dance. And it's about the heroine is an Italian American belly dancer from Newark, New Jersey, and
Hmm.
her experiences
Who could that be?
performing overseas and in the United and in New York City, specifically New York City. And my second book is an ebook, and it's actually a free ebook called "Create a Functional Body, Train Like a Dancer,"
Hmm.
and it's a short, quick read, and it's got some great information on Middle Eastern dance, how we do our isolations, and also very specific functional training from head to toe, which will make you stronger and fitter within within a month. And my third book is the Feisty Italian Cookbook. So thanks for bringing that up, Tony.
Of course. I
And
mean, there's the mind part. You're an author. You've created
yeah,
with your mind
yeah.
something beautiful.
When I wrote the Feisty Italian Cookbook, I did a lot of research on food anthropology
Hmm.
indigenous to the Mediterranean and Southern Italy. I'm first generation Southern Italian. And on my mother's side, my dad, I'm third generation. And I guess about 90% of Italian Americans are Southern Italians or Sicilian.
Mm-hmm.
Only 10% are Northern. And the foods of Southern Italy, everyone loves Italian food. But the foods that I wrote about were the foods that real Italians eat in the house.
Hmm.
Giambotta. I made you some of that stuff. Remember in Massachusetts when you were living there?
Delicious, delicious, and it fills you, but it doesn't leave you like the feeling you have when you leave the Olive Garden. It's a
Right.
different feeling. Like I'm full, but I'm good. I don't feel sick.
I hate to say this, but Olive Garden is a cursed word to Italians. I
Sorry,
have
I
these
brought it up.
non-Italian, oh my gosh, I have these non-Italian friends, and they basically ate awful food. And they would tell me, "Oh, I had four waffles. You know those processed waffles that taste like cardboard with," and they would put margarine on it.
Hmm.
And then for lunch, they would have like a dozen pierogies. And then for dinner, more stuff that was highly processed. They ate no vegetables, no fruits. And we were all around the same age, and they were really sick. They had degenerative diseases.
Yeah.
They had they were on like 12, 13 prescriptions each, both husband and wife. And one day they said, "Oh, we really love Olive Garden." Hey, shout out to Olive Garden. No hate here.
No
Just
hate.
real Italians. We cook. We're known to cook. And Tony, you too are a published author. You too have written many things, many articles on psychology.
Hmm.
So I'd love to hear you talk about that too.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm sure we'll talk about it more in other podcasts, but
Oh, yeah.
I have some articles that I published with the VA in Manhattan where we were looking at behavior change in veterans with chronic illnesses and how to support them to change unhealthy
Mhm.
diets, sedentary behavior, lack of adherence to medication. So I have some publications in really top medical journals, so I'm proud of that, and thank you for bringing that up. And then I have some chapters I've written. I just wrote a chapter with my mother, who's an academic as well, retired now, but still teaching part-time. And we talked about our experiences with mentoring as Hispanic women in academia. So
Yes.
yeah, I have some publications, and now I think we can say we're working on a book together. Sandra
Oh,
and I
yes.
will share that once it's ready, but this is a real
So
labor of love.
excited.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It's really a lot of fun writing. And I'm just enjoying doing the project with you.
Yeah, it makes a difference when you have someone you get along with and someone
Oh,
who
yeah.
is responsible because I've, I'm sure as you have too, Sandra, you've had other experiences
Oh, yeah.
collaborating.
Oh, yes. It's really hard, like, to find someone who A, keeps their word, B, is responsible, and C, is proactive. And you are all of those things. And I am all of those things. I've owned three businesses in my lifetime. I worked in corporate America. You know, you get there early, not on time. You do everything that has to be done that day productively, quickly. You have to make things happen. And we both make things happen. And ever since I met you, Tony, that was 2009.
Yes, it was. I believe it was September 2009 when we
Right.
met in the House of Tears
The
in New York
House of
City.
Tears. Oh, man. That was
Do you want
wild.
to tell that story? I love the way you tell the story of how we met.
Okay. During the Ottoman Empire, there was something called Topkapi Palace, and that was a harem. And the Sultan had, at one point, he had 1,000 concubines. And whenever the Sultan would die, they would send off his concubines. Some were young teenagers and some were older. And they would send these women to a palace called the House of Tears. And that's where they spent their last days. And for some, I mean, some were just young 14-year-old girls, others were much older women. But they got rid of the old, and it was just, they called it the House of Tears because there was no more happiness, and there were so many tears, so much heartbreak, shattered dreams. So when we lived on that residence on the Upper West Side, which was one of the best neighborhoods in New York,
It was. It was
but
gorgeous. At
once
least
the
outside, it was gorgeous.
yes, I mean Riverside Park, and
Hmm.
you and I would train in Riverside Park. We
Hmm.
both have a dance background to us, a little bit of a martial arts kickboxing background, and we like to train, and we would go to the park, and it was really so beautiful and so green and colorful, and training outside was so wonderful. That was one of the ups of living there, but the staff was scurrilous. There were some women there that suffered from severe mental illness.
Yeah.
And then there were others who were much older and in mental and physical decline. And Tony, I don't think I've ever met meaner people in one spot, but you were my bestie there.
Yeah, thank
And the
God
way
we
we
found each
met,
other.
yeah. So you were walking down the hall. We had shared bathrooms, and you had a towel on and a towel wrapped over your head. And you said, "Hi, I'm Tony. I just moved here." And I said, "Oh, so lovely to meet you. I'm Sandra." And I thought, God, I like her. She seems so normal. And as we were talking, I thought you were Italian. And I said, "You're Italian." And you said, "No, I'm not." And I said, "I know this is not politically correct, but what are you?" And you said, "Spanish." And I said, "You're from down neck Newark." And you turned around and said, "Who are you?" And I said, "I'm your neighbor. I'm your Down Neck neighbor." So as it turns out, our people are from Down Neck, Newark, which is the ironbound section of Newark. And the Italians emigrated to Newark from the 1880s through the 1920s, and then later on. Like my mom came in 1948, and the Spaniards started coming in like 1921, and then in huge clusters in the 1960s and
Hmm.
70s.
Hmm.
So your parents are Spanish, and your mom is also part Polish and Swedish. Um, Maybe you could talk about that.
Yeah, well, my parents met in Newark at a pulpo. For those of you who don't speak Spanish, an octopus festival. And
Yum.
yeah, my dad was
Oh, yum.
of those who came 60s, 70s. Right now, I don't remember the probably late 60s. He came to the U.S. and he was down around 14th Street where there were a lot of Spaniards hanging out around Newark, but living in Union City. And my mother grew up in Newark. Her dad was from
Right.
Spain. He escaped the Civil War because his
Mhm.
brother was murdered. So he escaped. He went to Cuba, then he went to Newark and he met my grandma,
Mhm.
who was from a Polish Swedish family. And it was
Wow.
like, all the different cultures living peacefully there. It was
Mhm.
it was a wonderful
Yes.
place before. Now,
Yeah.
unfortunately, it's changed. It's one of those depressed cities, like so many, like Springfield, where I lived, and Sandra came
Yeah.
to visit me, another city that used to be booming, but now a
Yeah.
depressed city. So yeah, it's a small world, and Sandra and I had that connection,
Yeah.
and found out we have so many other connections. Like you said, like we're into martial
Right.
arts and
Yes.
writing and just the arts in general. So
Oh, yeah.
it's been a lovely friendship, and yeah, I can't wait to continue this video podcast series with you, Sandra.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here with you, Tony.
Well,
I've been really
thank
looking
you.
forward to this. Thank
Yes, me
you.
too. Thank you
And
so
this
much
was your
for being
idea.
here.
This was your idea.
Well, you inspired it. I just get inspired from you. I get these ideas from our Friday sessions. I got so many ideas, and I've never done something like this with another woman, and it's
Yeah,
just so special. And I want to share this with others that others can have
right,
friendships like this that inspire them and collaborate together. Whatever it is people do, it doesn't have to be exactly what we're doing, but in other ways, in other fields.
right, right. And also, there's a huge age difference. You're just a baby. You're just a
Well,
young, beautiful 40-year-old.
yeah.
And I just turned 67. Yet we connected and we've had a friendship since 2009. And you've lived all over the world. You moved to Peru, you married there, you gave birth to your beautiful daughter there, and now you've lived all over, and you're a New Yorker,
Still a New Yorker at
always a
heart.
New Yorker. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So hopefully this can share a little bit about who we are with everyone
Right.
and what we're looking to accomplish with our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you everybody for spending some time with us, and hopefully you'll continue to watch our podcasts. Thank
So
you.
nice.